Katie Page finally became a parent in May 2017 when she adopted a newborn boy named Grayson. Then the new mother met a baby girl who also needed care the next month. But when Paige welcomed the two kids into her house, she learned something startling about them. We will find out her entire story together. Paige moved to Denver after leaving Birmingham, Alabama, where she was born. And in November 2014, she landed a position with Colorado Springs-based construction firm GE Johnson. In particular, she manages a variety of various construction projects as an integrated services manager. However, Paige was also dealing with the fallout from her divorce prior to joining GE Johnson. She therefore engaged in a great deal of soul-searching during this time in an effort to get her life back on track. She came to the realization that she needed to make some important changes as a result. In addition, Paige had a long-standing goal that she was working for even while she was slowly putting her life back together. Although fertility issues had held her back during her marriage, the Alabama native had long dreamed of having children of her own. However, only around 2 weeks after moving into her new home did Paige's childhood fantasy come true again. She received an email from her church at that time. The construction manager was pulled to an advertisement for a casual meeting on foster care while she was reading the message. After that, Paige's mother warned her against adopting children at this point in her life because she already had too much going on with work and home improvements. But after some initial hesitation, Paige's mother gave in and went to the appointment with her daughter. Paige herself experienced significant effects while there. Then Paige made a choice that would forever alter her life, and about a year later, she had settled into her new position completely. In fact, Paige was now raising her fourth foster child, but she was gently altering her perspective. She pondered a concept while spending time with the young child that would fundamentally change her long-term intentions. After giving it some thought, the foster mother told her caseworker about her newly discovered ambition. Shortly after that conversation, Paige got a crucial communication. On her blog, she recalled receiving a message from her caseworker in the middle of the workday. It involved a baby boy who had been left at the hospital and was probably a foster-to-adopt arrangement. Fortunately, Paige had previously developed a wide list of names that would be appropriate for the newcomer, and while she perused the options, one name in particular caught her eye. She finally decided to give the baby boy the name Grayson. The following day, Paige went to the hospital to pick up the newborn after discussing her choice with her mother. The foster mother duly returned him to her home after that, but she still had to deal with a significant task. The child, had no name at that point. The nurses had just called him Baby Boy. Before Grayson had time to settle in, Paige had extended an invitation to her mother to spend the ensuing months at the residence. After all, she was still taking care of the other foster child. Even so, even though Paige's mother was ready to help her daughter, the subsequent few months proved to be quite difficult. During that time, Paige started looking to find Grayson's biological parents, but that specific task proved to be challenging. She later stated in her blog, "The information left at the hospital never led to anyone." Paige wrote, "No one responded to the newspaper ads or went back to the hospital in search of the boy who had been left that day." The foster mother then began to experience conflicting feelings regarding the search, which put her in a difficult situation. In order for Grayson to always be mine without any opposition, Paige said that part of her was relieved when no one stepped forward. Paige finally adopted Grayson after spending 11 months with him. Considering that Grayson was dealing with certain physical and mental difficulties as a result of his exposure to drugs while in his mother's pregnancy, she also made the decision to postpone taking in any other foster children. She decided to hold off on welcoming another child for a few more months in order to concentrate on her son's growth. Her position immediately altered, though, after speaking with her caseworker. Another interesting proposal was made to the mother. When she questioned me about how we were adjusting to our adoption, Paige wrote on Wood Plus Grace, she started to tell me about an emergency placement they had for a 4-day-old baby girl with drug exposure that was at the same hospital as Grayson had been born at. Additionally, she required placement that afternoon. And as it turned out, Paige later found an amazing coincidence while looking over Hannah's medical records. The newborn appeared to have been exposed to the same amount of drugs that Grayson had been, and the two also shared similar symptoms. Paige realized later that evening that the similarities between the two kids didn't stop there. As she looked over the newborn girl's wristbands, Paige noted that the mother's first name matched the one Grayson's mother had provided to the hospital. A woman named Ashley Chapa, who lived at the house, had previously been hired by Paige to care with the two kids. The construction manager therefore dug out Grayson's information and gave it to Chapa after noting the recognizable birth date. Soon after that, they both developed a connection that might have been unbelievable. See, Paige soon found that Grayson and Hannah's mother were also born on the same day, which in turn sparked an amazing occasion. Chapa was also incredulous about the idea that Grayson and Hannah might be connected. In January 2019, she said to Good Morning America, "It was as strange as you could imagine. When Katie pulled her documentation from Grayson's paperwork folder, we noticed that everything was identical, including their first names." After that, Paige continued her investigation a little more before speaking with Grayson's caseworker to share her findings. She then learned more details about Hannah's mother, which only confirmed her thoughts. Later that week, Paige and the infant were scheduled to see the woman who seemed to be Hannah's mother. Paige was further strengthened in her belief that her theory was accurate by that experience. Then, a few days later, Paige's caseworker met Hannah's alleged mother for the first time, though she wasn't sure if the lady was indeed the child's biological mother. Additionally, following the discovery, Grayson and Hannah took a DNA test, the results of which confirmed the two were in fact brothers and sisters. Paige decided to pursue a second adoption as a result of this fortuitous happenstance, and as the year came to a conclusion, she eventually brought the siblings together by placing them in the same adoptive household. But this amazing story still had one more twist in store. Paige was informed of yet another infant sibling, and she ultimately decided to adopt Hannah before Grayson's adoption. In 2019, she hopes to be able to formally adopt the child into the family.